Hi everyone, Marnie here. Today I want to talk to you about Google Search Console. It is an incredibly powerful tool to really optimize your SEO, and I just have to share it with you. And if you're anything like me, I knew Google Search Console existed. I knew somewhere in my heart that I should be paying attention to it, but quite honestly, it overwhelmed me. There's a lot of data, and it just was too much for me at that point. But recently I learned about its capabilities and my eyes opened wide. You got to pay attention to Google Search Console. It is a rock solid tool to get more traffic to your site, more sticky traffic to your site, and to be successful as a blogger. So I'm excited to dive in here. So you can see up on my screen, I just have the Google search page. So let's just go to Google search. There it is, Google Search Console. Boom. And this is my other site. I'm going to bring up Carrots or Orange. That's a site I've had for longer, so there's a lot more data there. If you want to add your property, click over here on this red square, and you add your property. Make sure you copy and paste your URL directly from the box up here, because I made that mistake the first time, and it added the www, and I didn't get any data, so I didn't know what was going on. And Google just wants you to put the HTTP : / no www. Okay, that's just a little tip. So if we go in here, Carrots or Orange, this is the dashboard. This is where we are currently as of yesterday, November 1st. Crawl errors, I get 3 thumbs up. That's awesome. Search analytics, pretty decent. Okay, we've got so many clicks over the last month. And then these are the sitemaps. One quick note about sitemaps: you really only want to include the sitemap that has your posts in it, not the categories, not the tags. And from what I understand, this is because if you put the sitemaps for all 3 of those sections, the posts, the tags, the categories, for example, you will have duplicate content. And Google does not like duplicate content. So that's a little pro tip there. So this number right here should roughly equal the number of posts you have on your site. Now, this is ridiculous. Oh my gosh, look at all these images. So this to me is a warning. That's kind of a red flag. So I'm gonna, and you can see I have some warnings here too. So I don't necessarily want Google to index all of these images. So that's something I will go and look into. So over here on the left-hand side, you have several areas to dig into. I'm only going to focus on search traffic today because I believe that is something that you all can take and run with and really make a huge impact practically immediately. I mean it. And these other areas really are a whole other presentation. Okay, search appearance, that is literally how you appear in Google search and ways that you can improve it, tools that you can use. Let's focus on search traffic, okay? We're going to go into search analytics. That is a specific area that we're going to focus on today during this presentation. Search traffic, search analytics. I want to look at clicks, I want to look at impressions, and I want to look at click-through rates. I also want to look at a longer time period. Oops, not 28 days. I want to do 90 days because that will give us a lot of meat. I am then going to sort by impressions. So what does this tell us? This queries, this is literally the keywords or the words that people are putting into Google search and landing on my site. Or not landing on my site, but my site is landing within that search. As you can see for cat eyes, that's a little funny to me because I do have a couple of posts on why cat's eyes glow. So that's great, I suppose, that I'm showing up there. I have a ton of impressions. I only have 28 clicks, okay? So that gives us a really low click-through rate. Now, my question is, what do I do with that information? Well, chances are when people type in cat eyes, they are not looking for a learning activity about why cat's eyes glow, right? There's glasses that are called cat eyes. I think that there's marbles that are cat eyes. There's a lot of things that are labeled cat eyes. that people might be searching for. So to be quite honest, even though this is my top impressions, it's just not something I'm worried about because it's not relevant. It's not within my niche. Now, if we look down here, how to make a pulley, now I have a very specific post on how to make a pulley with kids. I'm getting some good impressions here, very low click-through rate. I went back and I looked at this site, at this post, and the only thing I can think of is that people are really wanting to make a pulley for work around a construction site or around their house or whatever, and it's not necessarily a kid's activity. So what I did in that situation is I went back into the post and I made certain that the title was optimized, the headlines are optimized. I got all the green lights on Yoast. I had a really solid meta description, which is kind of like your last marketing effort to call someone in and to have them click through. Everything honestly really checked out. So I'm going to also let that one go. I've done everything I can. And just so you know, a decent click-through rate is above 15%. So that is not good. And again, I've just started making adjustments on a daily basis. So I think over time, it'll be interesting to see over the next month how these numbers change, because I do think they will. Now, this third one, friction experiments. Now I'm getting a lot of impressions here. I'm getting a lot of clicks, over almost 20% click-through rate. That's really, really great. It could be even better because you know what? I have really great friction experiments on my site. It's within the niche, it's within the topic. It is totally relevant to my site. So while 19% is great and maybe not a high priority, I can go back to that post and see, okay, what is it that I can do to get someone to choose my post in order to, excuse me, when they're searching for friction experiments, how can I entice them? How can I draw them into my site? So that's kind of where the art comes into it. Now, this is kind of funny. Why are carrots orange? Why are carrots orange? My site is carrots are orange, so haha, I'm not really interested in that one. Daily schedule for kids. I have a fantastic roundup that is routine charts for kids. Now, I will say this, there are a ton of posts out there for daily schedules, and you can see even here a morning chart, and there's daily routine chart, morning routine chart. So it's something that people really are looking for often. I have a roundup post on routine charts for kids that does very, very well. But here's the deal. None of those posts within the roundup are mine. Okay, so I put no follows into that post, so perhaps Google will like that a bit better and bring me higher in the search. I'm not sure. We're just playing around with it. Some of this is experimenting, guys. And the other thing is I went back into the post and I made sure that morning chart was included in the content as well as the meta description. And same with daily routine chart and morning routine chart. I wanted to use the same exact words that people are looking through, and then optimizing from that marketing strategy standpoint to see if we could get this click-through rate higher. Now, one that I'll pull out here, Montessori books. My blog is a Montessori living and learning blog, right? So I've got some good impressions here, good clicks. I'm only getting a 3.59 click-through rate. So what the heck's going on there? Because really that is super relevant. I have several posts on Montessori books for parents, for homeschoolers, and so on. So really I should be not only coming up in that search, but I should be getting a click-through rate. So if we go over to Google and we search Montessori books, let's see what comes up. Okay. So this tells me that, look at this, guys, all these books on Montessori, right? There's so much opportunity for people to click through on these before they even see anything that comes up in the search. And even here, okay, they've got all these books that come up generally, and then the sponsored posts, and then this is quite good. I come up third, right? So that's great. That's great. I'm happy about that. But again, the click-through rate is pretty low. So how can I make this stand out a bit better? And what I can do is I can change this title, this SEO title, to say my favorite Montessori books for parents, or the only Montessori books for parents that you need to know, or anything like that. I could also update the post generally, so it's a more dated post. Some people might look at that and be like, oh, that was over a year ago. I want something that's a little bit more relevant, more recent. Who knows? But you need to just go in and make those changes and see what happens, okay? So that's one example. Open-ended questions for kids. I have a very specific post on open-ended questions for kids. So this right here, that doesn't make me happy because it literally is open-ended questions for kids. So let's see, what can I do? Open-ended questions for kids. I don't even see my post here. Oh, there it is. Okay, so this tells me something right away, you guys. I started it by saying inquiry-based learning, open-ended questions for kids. Well, okay, that's great. Inquiry-based learning. What, doesn't that sound fancy? Doesn't that sound great? But that's not what someone is going to search for, okay? Someone is going to search for open-ended questions for kids. So what I could do is I could move open-ended questions for kids to the start of that title so it picks up quicker. And I could also make sure, again, that this meta description really screams, come click on this post, okay? And then compare it for here. I mean, 20 open-ended questions for kids. I could write 25 open-ended questions for kids and someone would be like, okay, I like that. Or I could figure out, I could add a few more so I could get 40 questions to ask your kids. By the way, this is a great post if you guys don't know it. So that's another example, okay? So I could go on and on and on and go through all of these, but it is really a fun activity. And it's, it's an art and it's science, and you just got to be patient and you just got to play around with it. I do have kind of an action guide for you all based on clicks, impressions, click-through rates, and relevancy. So as I mentioned, like here, cat eyes, right? I got high impressions. I got a low click-through rate. It's not relevant. So what's the action? Do nothing. Okay, so friction experiments, that's a decent click-through rate. So let's prioritize another one. Let's prioritize that Montessori books. I've got decent impressions. I've got okay clicks. I've got a pretty low click-through rate, and the relevancy is high. So what are the things that I can do? Well, I can go back and make sure that SEO is optimized. I can make sure the meta description is looking good. And I'm getting good impressions, so arguably I've promoted it well, but that's also something that you can consider doing once you've made the upgrades to the SEO. Now, one thing I want to show before I go here. Okay, so this is a good one. Okay, this is a good example. Essential oils in the classroom. I have a post on that, right? So we have not so great impressions, great click-through rate. Look at that, 35% click-through rate. So what this tells me, the action I need to do is to promote it better, because it's getting up there in the search. People are clicking through, but I'm not getting impressions. So something tells me that my SEO could use some work. So what I'm going to do for you guys is to create a little cheat sheet, kind of an action guide. Here are the different scenarios, and here are the actions that you should take. I hope that you find that useful. I hope you found this overview useful. Please get in touch with me. I'm more than happy to work with you here. We're in this together, and I am learning quite a bit here with you all as I go along, but that's the way it works, folks. So I would love to hear what you have to think or have to say, and I will be in touch with you soon.